I made out with my ex behind the venue at our engagement party. Now my fiancé is saying we're done. Yup, that's the mess I've created. I'm Allison, 27, and I swear I didn't plan for any of this to happen. Adam proposed on our 2-year anniversary with this gorgeous ring that probably cost him 3 paychecks. I said yes because, well, it felt like the right time. All my friends were either engaged or married already, and Adam's a good guy, stable, reliable, knows how to fix my laptop when it crashes. My mom absolutely adores him, always going on about how lucky I am to find such a responsible man. And yeah, he is responsible. Maybe a little too responsible sometimes, like when he makes us leave parties by 10 p.m. because he has an early morning. Planning the engagement party was a whole thing. Adam wanted something small at his parents' house, but I pushed for renting this cute venue by the lake. I mean, you only get engaged once, right? We argued about the guest list for days. He wanted just close friends and family, but I kept adding people. Then I added Jason to the list. Adam doesn't know our full history, that Jason and I were together for 3 years before I met Adam, or that things ended because he moved for work, not because we fell out of love. Adam thinks Jason was just some guy I dated briefly in college. I told myself I was inviting Jason for closure, to finally prove to myself that I was over him. Deep down, though, I wanted to see if he still looked at me the same way. The week before the party, Jason texted to confirm he was coming. My heart did this stupid little jump that it hadn't done for Adam in months. We started texting more, innocent stuff at first, just catching up. But then it shifted to inside jokes and reminiscing about our past. If Adam had been texting his ex like that, I would have lost it completely. Checked his phone while he was sleeping, the whole jealous girlfriend routine. But somehow, I convinced myself this was different. By the time we arrived at the venue for final setup, I was a bundle of nerves. Not about hosting or about celebrating our engagement, but about seeing Jason again after 2 years. What kind of bride-to-be thinks more about her ex than her fiancé at her own engagement party? That should have been my wake-up call right there. But instead of listening to that voice of reason, I reapplied my lipstick and practiced my smile in the bathroom mirror, waiting for the guests, for Jason, to arrive. The first hour of the party was a blur of hugs, congratulations, and showing off my ring. Adam stayed glued to my side, proudly introducing me as his fiancé. On the outside, I was all smiles. Inside, I kept checking the door every time it opened. My friend Tara noticed and whispered, "Expecting someone special?" If she only knew. When Jason finally walked in, my heart literally skipped. He looked better than I remembered, taller somehow, more confident. He wore this navy button-down that made his eyes pop, exactly like the one I bought him for his birthday years ago. Adam was mid-conversation with his college roommate when I spotted Jason, and I immediately created distance between us, slipping my hand out of Adam's grasp with the excuse of checking on the catering. I grabbed 2 champagne flutes and made my way over, interrupting Jason's conversation with a bright, "Jason, you made it." The look he gave me, like he'd been waiting all night for this moment, made my knees weak. I introduced myself to the girls he was talking to as an old friend of Jason's, rather than the bride-to-be, a detail that should have embarrassed me but didn't. "Congratulations on the engagement," Jason said, raising his glass. "Adam's a lucky guy." "Is he?" I said, instantly regretting how flirty it sounded. We fell into easy conversation about his new place, my job, mutual friends. I kept finding reasons to touch him, straightening his collar, brushing imaginary lint off his shoulder. If anyone was watching, it would have been obvious. Thank God Adam was busy playing perfect host across the room. My phone buzzed with a text from Adam. "Where are you? Mom wants pics with us." I replied, "Coming in 5, and then ignored 3 more messages over the next 20 minutes as Jason and I reminisced about our weekend trips to the beach, carefully avoiding any mention of Adam or my engagement. "I need some air," I finally said. "It's getting stuffy in here." The invitation in my voice couldn't have been clearer. Jason glanced toward where Adam was still taking photos with family. "Lead the way." I navigated us through the crowd toward the side door. My cousin Whitney caught my eye as we slipped out, and I gave her a "cover for me" look that she acknowledged with a slight nod. Girls understand these signals even when they shouldn't help you with something this wrong. The cool night air hit my flushed skin as we stepped outside. The venue had this beautiful landscaped area with paths winding around to the back, secluded enough to be private, but not so far that I couldn't claim we were just getting some fresh air if anyone asked. I wasn't sure if I should come tonight, he said as we walked. It's a little weird, isn't it, being at your engagement party? Why? I asked, playing dumb. He stopped walking, turning to face me. Because of how things ended with us, because I still think about you sometimes. He stepped closer, because I can tell you still think about me too. I should have stepped back. I should have mentioned Adam's name, held up my ring, anything to create a boundary. Instead, I said, "How can you tell?" "The way you've been looking at me all night," he said. "The same way you're looking at me right now." We had wandered behind the venue now, away from the windows and the music. It was quieter here, just the sound of distant laughter and the fountain nearby. No one could see us, and God help me, that's exactly why I'd led us this way. "Jason," I started to say, but I didn't finish because suddenly his hand was on my waist, and I was leaning into him like a magnetic pull I couldn't fight. And then we were kissing, and it wasn't a gentle, hesitant kiss. It was desperate and familiar all at once. "I've missed you so much," I whispered against his mouth. "I can't believe we're doing this at my engagement party." He pulled back just enough to look at me. "Do you want to stop?" The right answer was yes. The honest answer was no. Don't stop, don't ever stop. We were so lost in each other that we didn't hear the footsteps approaching until it was too late, until a shocked, hurt voice cut through our private bubble. "Allison? What the hell is this?" Adam stood there, jaw clenched, eyes moving from my smudged lipstick to Jason's hand still on my waist. And in that moment, seeing the pain wash over his face, reality came crashing back. I had just destroyed everything. "Adam," I gasped, stepping away from Jason like I'd been burned. "It's not... I can explain. But what explanation could there possibly be for making out with my ex behind the venue at our engagement party?" "Adam, please," I said, moving toward him. "It was just a kiss, it was a moment of weakness, it didn't mean anything." Even as I said the words, I knew how hollow they sounded. "A moment of weakness," Adam repeated, his voice eerily calm. "At our engagement party, with your ex-boyfriend. You've been so distant lately," I heard myself saying. "Always working, barely paying attention to me. I just..." "Stop," Adam cut me off, holding up his hand. "Just stop." He looked at Jason then, really looked at him for the first time. "Were you invited or did you crash?" Jason looked uncomfortable. "I was invited." Adam's eyes snapped back to me. "You invited him? Behind my back?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. "I don't know you at all," Adam said quietly. Then he turned and walked away, back toward the party, leaving me standing there with smeared lipstick and the sudden sickening realization of what I'd just done. "Adam, wait," I called after him, but he didn't stop or turn around. "I should go," Jason said. "No." I grabbed his wrist. "Just give me a minute. I need to fix this." But even as I said it, I knew some things couldn't be fixed. And deep down, a small, terrible part of me was already wondering if I even wanted to. The rest of the night was a nightmare I had to smile through. I returned to the party alone, my heart racing, scanning the crowd for Adam. He was nowhere to be found. His mother cornered me by the dessert table, asking where he'd gone. I mumbled something about him not feeling well. Maybe food poisoning. She looked skeptical, but didn't press. I spent the next hour making excuses for Adam's absence, accepting congratulations with a fixed smile that made my face hurt, all while texting him frantically under the table. No response. Jason had wisely disappeared too, though not before slipping me his new number on a cocktail napkin when no one was looking. I tucked it into my clutch, hating myself for keeping it. Around midnight, as the party finally wound down, Tara offered to let me crash at her place. I accepted, not ready to face what waited at home. As we left, I caught Adam's cousin watching me with knowing eyes. Word would spread, it was only a matter of time. The next morning, I woke up with a pounding headache and 12 missed calls from my mother. I ignored them and headed home, rehearsing apologies the whole drive. I would cry, easy enough given my hangover, promise it would never happen again, probably true, suggest couples therapy to show I was serious, and remind him how good we were together when I wasn't sabotaging us. But when I unlocked our apartment door, the silence hit me first. Adam sat at the kitchen table, still in last night's clothes, looking like he hadn't slept at all. The engagement ring I'd left on the nightstand before the party was sitting in front of him. Adam, I began, my voice breaking. I am so sorry. I made a terrible mistake. It didn't mean anything, I swear. He didn't look up. Who else knows about you and Jason? No one. I mean, I don't think anyone saw us except you. So you've been hiding it from everyone? For how long? What? No, last night was the first time anything happened. I lied, conveniently forgetting weeks of flirty texts. It was a stupid one-time mistake. He finally looked at me. I checked your phone a week ago, Allison. My blood went cold. You went through my phone? You had no right. Don't, he cut me off. Don't try to make this about me invading your privacy when you've been texting your ex behind my back for weeks, planning to see him at our engagement party. I felt cornered, exposed. Those were just friendly texts. Nothing happened until last night, and it just got out of hand. Stop lying, Adam said, pushing back from the table. Just stop. I need some time to think. About us, about whether there can even be an us after this. What are you saying? Panic rose in my throat. I'm saying I don't know if I can marry someone I don't trust. He stood up, grabbing a duffel bag I hadn't noticed by the door. I'm gonna stay with Greg for a few days. I need space. Adam, please. I grabbed his arm. Please don't go. We can talk about this, we can fix this. He gently removed my hand. There's nothing to talk about right now. You made your choice last night, behind the venue with Jason. As he walked out the door, I called after him. It was just a kiss. People make mistakes. The door closed. I was alone with the ring on the table and the terrible knowledge that it had been so much more than just a kiss. It had been a betrayal weeks in the making. 2 weeks crawled by. Adam came home after 4 days at Greg's, but it felt like living with a stranger. He slept on the couch, went to work early, came home late. When we did talk, it was like tiptoeing through a minefield. I tried everything, cooking his favorite meals, wearing the lingerie he liked, crying, pleading, even suggesting couples therapy. I think that's a good idea, he said about the therapy, which surprised me. Our first session was a disaster. The therapist, Dr. Melanie, asked why we were there. She cheated on me at our engagement party, Adam said bluntly. It was just a kiss, I interjected quickly, with an ex who showed up unexpectedly. Adam's eyes narrowed. You invited him, Allison, and you'd been texting him for weeks. Those texts weren't inappropriate. Another lie. I turned to Dr. Melanie. I had a momentary lapse in judgment, but I'm fully committed to Adam, to us. That night, as Adam slept on the couch, I found myself texting Jason. Nothing explicit, just checking if he was okay after everything. He replied immediately, asking if I wanted to meet up. I told him I couldn't, that I was working on things with Adam, but I didn't block his number like I should have. The next morning, Adam asked if I'd been in contact with Jason since the party. No, I said without hesitation. Absolutely not. We went to 3 more therapy sessions. Things seemed to be improving slightly. Adam moved back to our bed, though we didn't touch. I started to believe we might actually get past this. Then came the morning I left my phone on the counter while showering. I came out to find Adam holding it, his face a mask of cold fury. You've been texting him this whole time, he said, his voice frighteningly calm. While we're in therapy, while I'm trying to forgive you, you're still lying to my face every day. Let me explain, I began, clutching my towel. Those texts aren't what they look like. I can read, Allison, he shouted, making me flinch. Adam never shouted. You told him you missed talking to him. You told him things were complicated with me. You asked if he was seeing anyone. I had no defense. He was right. The wedding is off, Adam said, setting my phone down. We're done. Adam, no, I begged, grabbing his hands. Please, I'll block him right now. I'll change my number. Anything. It's too late, he said, gently extracting himself from my grip. I've been trying so hard to trust you again, and you've been lying to my face this entire time. I made one mistake. Are you really throwing away 2 years over one mistake? He laughed, but there was no humor in it. One mistake? You invited your ex to our engagement party behind my back. You've been messaging him for months. You made out with him at our engagement party. And you've continued talking to him while swearing to me you weren't. That's not one mistake, Allison. That's a pattern of deception. Where are you going to go? I asked as he started packing a larger suitcase this time. Greg's offering his spare room until I find a place. So that's it? You're just giving up on us? I was crying now, genuine tears of fear and loss. He looked at me with something like pity. No, Allison, you gave up on us behind the venue with Jason. I'm just finally accepting it. Weeks passed. Adam came by only to pick up more of his things, always when I was at work. I'd come home to find another empty shelf, another blank space on the wall where his photos had been. It felt like he was erasing himself from my life piece by piece. I texted Jason more regularly now. What was there to lose? We met for coffee, then dinner, then back to his place. It wasn't as exciting as I'd built it up to be in my head. The chemistry was still there, but something felt off. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was knowing what I'd sacrificed to be sitting on his couch. Over the next month, I constructed a narrative where Adam was the unreasonable one. He couldn't forgive one mistake, I told friends over wine. He went through my phone, I emphasized to my mom, conveniently leaving out what he'd found. Some people just look for excuses to run when things get real, I informed my sister, who gave me a skeptical look but said nothing. I started spending most nights at Jason's. It was easier than being alone in the apartment with all its memories. But Jason was different from how I remembered. The excitement I'd felt about him was fading, replaced by a growing awareness of our incompatibility. He was still the same person I'd broken up with years ago. Fun but unreliable, charming but self-centered. Then came the night I saw a text pop up on Jason's phone while he was in the shower. From someone named Melissa. Can't wait to see you tomorrow night. Don't be late this time. When he came out, I confronted him. Who's Melissa? He looked startled, then annoyed. Did you go through my phone? I saw the text when it came in, I said, ignoring the hypocrisy. Are you seeing someone else? Jason ran a hand through his hair, looking uncomfortable. Look, Allie, we never said we were exclusive. The floor seemed to drop out from under me. What? I mean, you just got out of a serious relationship. I figured you wanted to keep things casual. You knew I left Adam for you, I was shouting now. Jason took a step back. Whoa, no. You cheated on Adam with me, and he dumped you. That's not the same thing as leaving him for you. And honestly, that whole situation made me a little wary of getting serious with you. The irony was like a slap in the face. So what, I'm good enough to sleep with but not to date? That's not what I said. Jason sighed. But if we're being honest, the way you handled things with Adam doesn't exactly inspire confidence. I grabbed my purse and jacket. Screw you, Jason. Allie, come on. Don't make this a bigger deal than it is. He reached for my arm, but I yanked it away. Don't contact me again, I snapped, slamming the door behind me. Driving home, tears blurred my vision. I'd lost Adam, and for what? For Jason, who'd been seeing someone else the whole time? The full weight of my choices was crashing down on me, and it was too much to bear alone. I called Tara, but it went straight to voicemail. Then Whitney, same thing. Finally, desperate for a friendly voice, I called my old work friend Shannon. Ali, she answered, sounding surprised. Everything okay? Not really, I sniffled. Can I come over? I really need to talk. A pause. Actually, I'm not home right now, I'm out. Something in her tone made me suspicious. Out where? Another hesitation. At Greg's place. We're having a game night. Greg, Adam's friend Greg. Is Adam there? The silence on the other end was answer enough. Shannon, please. I really need a friend right now. Ollie, I'm sorry you're going through something, but Adam told us what happened. It's a little uncomfortable, you know? I hung up without responding. So that was it. Not only had I lost Adam, but I was losing friends too. They were choosing sides, and they weren't choosing mine. The next 3 months were a slow-motion collapse. Work was a disaster. I'd been so distracted by the drama with Adam and Jason that I'd missed critical deadlines on a major project. My boss put me on probation, a humiliating first in my professional life. My lease was ending, and without Adam's half of the rent, I couldn't afford to renew. I had to find a smaller place in a less desirable neighborhood. Another step backward. Friends continued to drift away. Not all at once, but gradually. Fewer invitations, shorter responses to texts, last-minute cancellations. I heard through the grapevine that Adam had started seeing someone new, someone nice, someone trustworthy. The final blow came at my cousin Whitney's birthday dinner. I hadn't wanted to go, knowing I might see mutual friends who'd taken Adam's side, but family obligations won out. I arrived late, hoping to minimize awkward interactions. As I approached the restaurant, I saw them through the window, Adam and a pretty brunette at the table with my family and friends. They were all laughing at something she said. Adam had his arm around her, looking more relaxed and happy than I'd seen him in months, even before the engagement party disaster. I froze on the sidewalk watching. My mother spotted me through the glass and waved me in, but I couldn't move. Adam followed her gaze and saw me too. Our eyes met briefly before he turned back to the conversation, his expression unchanged. I was just another person to him now. No anger, no hurt, no anything. That's when it hit me. The full crushing reality of what I'd done and what it had cost me. Not just Adam, but my reputation, my friendships, my self-respect. I'd been so convinced I deserved more excitement, more passion, that I'd thrown away someone who truly loved me for a fantasy that had evaporated like morning mist. I turned and walked back to my car, texting Whitney an excuse about feeling sick. As I drove home to my empty apartment, past the life I used to have, past the future I'd destroyed, the truth I'd been avoiding for months finally broke through. This wasn't Adam's fault for not forgiving me. It wasn't Jason's fault for being Jason. It wasn't my friend's fault for choosing sides. It was mine. All mine. But even as that realization washed over me, the old defensiveness flared up. If Adam had been more exciting, more attentive, I wouldn't have been tempted by Jason. If Jason hadn't texted back, nothing would have happened. If my friends were really loyal, they'd have stood by me regardless. The cycle of blame continued. Even as I sat alone in my diminished life, faced with the undeniable consequences of my actions. I'd created this reality with my choices, my lies, my refusal to take responsibility. And now I had to live in it, watching from the outside as everyone else moved on without me. The karma I'd earned had finally arrived, and it was merciless.